There exists a peculiar ache in existing alone, a sensation that feels unnatural, almost akin to an error within the life system into which we are birthed. We enter a world overflowing with people, yet somehow you discover yourself sequestered, detached, as if the cosmos itself has turned its gaze away from you. The silence can be deafening, the emptiness insufferable. But what if I were to inform you that this seclusion isn't a miscalculation, that it serves a purpose far grander than you can conceive? Carl Jung, one of the most brilliant minds in psychology, posited that moments of solitude were not merely coincidences, but indispensable steps in the journey towards self-realization. The cosmos isn't penalizing you, it's metamorphosing you. The inquiry is, will you resist or will you embrace it? Initially, isolation feels like abandonment. We associate loneliness with failure, with rejection. You survey your surroundings and observe others flourishing in their interpersonal dynamics, enveloped by companions, seemingly at ease within the world. Meanwhile, you are left pondering, why me? What transgression did I commit? Yet Jung perceived isolation differently. He believed that those destined for something greater often find themselves set apart, not because they are undeserving of connection, but because their trajectory necessitates it. The moments of profound solitude are not punishments, but invitations, calls to explore the facets of yourself that remain concealed amidst the cacophony of the world. Most individuals dread solitude because it compels them to confront their authentic selves. However, those who embrace it discover something extraordinary. Contemplate the greatest intellects in history, philosophers, artists, scientists, spiritual leaders. They all underwent periods of profound isolation. Buddha sat alone beneath the Bodhi tree, enduring years in solitude, grappling with his thoughts. Even Jung himself retreated into deep introspection to decipher the human psyche. Why? Because genuine transformation doesn't occur in crowded chambers. It transpires in the silent, uncomfortable moments where you are left with nothing but yourself. The cosmos isolates those destined to awaken, coercing them into a space where distractions dissipate and self-discovery commences. If you are experiencing a sensation of being adrift and disconnected, perhaps it isn't because you've been forgotten. Perhaps it's because you are being prepared for something that only solitude can unveil. But here's the authentic challenge. Most individuals do not endure this isolation. They succumb to despair, believing that existing alone signifies being unwanted. Yet, Jung would contend that this is the paramount illusion of all. Loneliness is not a malediction, it is the doorway to something deeper. The query is, will you utilize this time to comprehend yourself, to cultivate, to evolve into something greater, or will you permit the silence to consume you? The cosmos has bestowed upon you this moment for a reason. Your actions with it will define everything. When you are isolated, your mind amplifies. The distractions of daily existence fade, and suddenly you are confronted with thoughts you've evaded for years. This is where most individuals falter. The mind commences to replay every misstep, every insecurity, every doubt. You begin to feel as though you are drowning within your own consciousness. But Jung comprehended something pivotal. This process is indispensable. He termed it individuation, the journey towards becoming your authentic self. Most individuals exist as fragments. their identities shaped by the expectations of others. However, in isolation, those external influences vanish, leaving only the raw, unfiltered version of you. It is terrifying, yet it is the sole path to genuine self-awareness. Reason isolation feels unbearable is that it coerces you to confront what you've been evading. Perhaps it's past trauma, perhaps it's the realization that the life you've constructed isn't genuinely yours. In the absence of distractions, your subconscious commences to speak. Jung believed that this confrontation with the self was the bedrock of personal growth. Most individuals will undertake any action to evade it, resorting to social media, interpersonal dynamics, perpetual activity. But those who endure it, who sit with their thoughts rather than fleeing from them, emerge transformed. The pain of isolation is not punishment, it is purification. But this is where many individuals descend into despair. Instead of perceiving solitude as an opportunity, they interpret it as rejection. They spiral into self-doubt, persuading themselves that they are undeserving of connection. This is the paramount peril of isolation, not the loneliness itself, but the fallacious belief that it is permanent. Jung cautioned against identifying too strongly with suffering. Yes, solitude is painful, but pain is not the adversary. It is the instructor. The more you resist it, the more it controls you. But if you lean into it, if you embrace the silence, you commence to hear something beneath it, your authentic voice. The individuals who emerge from isolation with wisdom and fortitude are those who comprehend its purpose. They do not perceive themselves as victims of loneliness, but as students of it. They utilize this time to reflect, to unlearn what society has imposed upon them, and to reconnect with their inner world. This is why so many geniuses, mystics, and visionaries spent time alone, because isolation is not a void, it is a passage, a rite of passage that distinguishes those who are merely existing from those who are truly alive. It may feel as though you've been abandoned, but what if you are actually being tested? Throughout history, those who achieved great feats were often thrust into periods of extreme solitude. They were stripped of comfort, removed from society, and forced to confront themselves. This isn't coincidence, it's initiation. The cosmos does not dispense wisdom gratuitously. It demands that you prove yourself worthy of it, and isolation is the initial test. Most individuals fail this test. They succumb to bitterness, believing that life has treated them unfairly. They squander their solitude in self-pity, awaiting the world to rescue them. But Jung believed that those who seek truth must endure the discomfort of loneliness. Why? Because only in solitude do you learn who you truly are. Without the influence of others, without the distractions of everyday life, you are compelled to confront the raw reality of your own existence. If you are navigating a period of isolation, comprehend this: the cosmos has not forsaken you. It is observing, awaiting to witness your response. Will you waste this time yearning for the past, or will you utilize it to evolve? This is what determines whether solitude will shatter you or awaken you. Those who pass this test emerge stronger, more self-aware, and prepared for the subsequent phase of their journey. But those who resist it, who attempt to escape it, only prolong their suffering. You possess a choice. You can perceive your isolation as a punishment or as a calling. If you are alone at this moment, ask yourself, what is the cosmos attempting to demonstrate to me? What facets of myself have I disregarded? What truths have I been too apprehensive to confront? Jung believed that the answers to these queries could only be discovered in solitude. This is why the cosmos isolates those it intends to transform, because only those who are willing to confront themselves can truly change. There is something most individuals do not comprehend regarding solitude. It doesn't merely reveal who you are, it molds you into someone new. When the clamor of the world dissipates, when the distractions vanish, what remains? Initially it feels like emptiness, like a void, but within that void, something is forming. Jung believed that deep within the unconscious mind resides a version of you that has never been touched by social conditioning, expectations, or fear. This is your authentic self, concealed beneath years of external influences, and the sole method to access it is through solitude. In our contemporary world, we are never genuinely alone. We are perpetually bombarded with stimuli, social media, television, endless entertainment. These distractions prevent us from confronting ourselves. But genuine growth occurs in stillness. Jung perceived solitude as a gateway to the unconscious mind, a realm where your deepest thoughts, desires, and fears surface. Most individuals never reach this realm because they are too apprehensive of what they might discover. But those who do, those who sit with their solitude rather than fleeing from it, uncover something extraordinary: power. Consider every great spiritual tradition. Monks retreat to the mountains, prophets wander the desert, sages spend years in silence. Why? Because isolation is not about suffering, it's about unlocking something deeper. Jung. 8. Jung posited that within each individual exists a force greater than the self, a liaison to something beyond the tangible world. He termed it the collective unconscious, the vast repository of human wisdom that lies dormant within all of us, and solitude is the key to accessing it. But solitude is not merely about discovering yourself, it's about constructing yourself. This is where strength is forged. You learn to deliberate independently, to trust your own instincts, to become the sovereign of your own mind. Most individuals navigate their lives in reaction to the world around them. They seek approval, validation, direction from others. However, those who embrace solitude assimilate something invaluable. They do not require the world to dictate who they are. They already possess that knowledge. So here you are, alone, endeavoring to find significance within the silence. It feels insufferable now, but what if this is the inception of something greater? Jung believed that every individual possesses a destiny, a trajectory that is uniquely theirs, but most never locate it because they are excessively distracted, excessively entangled in the expectations of society. The cosmos isolates you for a reason. It is compelling you to look inward, to heed the voice that has been drowned out for so long. At first, solitude feels like a confinement. But those who endure it long enough commence to perceive it for what it truly is: a doorway. A doorway to a life not dictated by apprehension, by conformity, by the constant necessity for external validation. Jung articulated the process of individuation, the journey toward becoming your truest self. But this journey is not for the faint-hearted. It necessitates courage, the courage to traverse alone, to embrace uncertainty, to trust that the silence holds the answers you seek. The truth is, most individuals will never comprehend what you are experiencing. They will advise you to simply put yourself out there, to move on, to be conventional. But you are not destined for a conventional existence. If you were, you wouldn't be here listening to this. The cosmos does not isolate those who are meant to blend in. It isolates those who are meant to awaken. It strips away everything familiar, compelling you to confront yourself so that you can emerge stronger, wiser, transformed. And so the query remains, what will you do with this solitude? Will you resist it, combat it, attempt to escape it, or will you embrace it, heed what it is attempting to instruct you, and utilize it to become the individual you were meant to be? The choice is yours, but remember this, the cosmos does not commit errors. If you are alone at this moment, it is because you were destined to be, and your subsequent actions will define everything. We inhabit a world more interconnected than ever, a world where, at any given moment, you can reach out and converse with someone across the planet, and yet loneliness is at an all-time peak, along with depression, anxiety, and sensations of emptiness. Why? If connection were the solution, wouldn't we all feel fulfilled? Jung would argue that most individuals are not genuinely connected at all. They are merely distracted. They surround themselves with others, not out of genuine connection, but out of apprehension of being alone with themselves. They seek validation, approval, a sense of belonging, anything to evade the silence. But in doing so, they forfeit the one connection that truly matters, the one with themselves. Jung believed that most relationships are built upon illusion. Individuals wear masks, play roles, conceal their authentic selves in order to be accepted. But this kind of connection is fragile. It's based on appearances, on superficial interactions, on a constant apprehension of being exposed. This is why so many individuals feel alone, even amidst a crowd, because they are not genuinely seen, they are not genuinely known, and worse, they do not even know themselves. The tragedy is that most will never break free from this illusion. They will spend their lives transitioning from one relationship to the next, one distraction to the next, desperately attempting to fill a void they do not comprehend. Isolation strips away the illusion. It compels you to confront reality. When you are alone, there is no one left to impress, no mask to wear. You are left with nothing but the truth of who you truly are, and for many, this is terrifying. It is easier to exist in distraction, to seek solace in empty relationships, to evade the profound, uncomfortable work of self-discovery. But those who resist this truth only prolong their suffering. They remain trapped in a cycle of shallow connections, never genuinely finding themselves. The irony is that genuine connection can only be found by those who have first assimilated to be alone. Only when you know yourself, your apprehensions, your desires, your strengths and weaknesses, can you forge relationships that are authentic. Only when you are no longer apprehensive of solitude can you connect with others without forfeiting yourself in the process. The cosmos isolates you not to penalize you, but to liberate you. To liberate you from false connections, from illusions, from the constant necessity for external validation, because only when you no longer require others to feel whole can you genuinely connect with them. There arrives a juncture in solitude where the silence ceases to be peaceful and becomes insufferable, where the emptiness feels as though it will consume you. This is what many spiritual traditions term the dark night of the soul. A period of intense suffering where everything you once believed in collapses. It feels like demise, and in many ways it is. But Jung would argue that this demise is indispensable. It is the demise of the false self, the identity built upon apprehension, upon expectations, upon the illusion of control. Only by permitting it to perish can you be reborn as something greater. At this stage, many individuals falter, they relinquish, they persuade themselves that life has no significance, that they will never escape this darkness. Depression, nihilism, despair, these are the perils of the dark night. But Jung comprehended that this suffering is not an end, it is a transition. It is the destruction of everything false within you, paving the way for something new. The individuals who emerge from this process are not the same as before. They are transformed, stripped of illusion, reborn with a clarity that most will never experience. But navigating through this stage is not effortless. Most individuals resist it. They attempt to cling to their old selves, to their old ways of thinking. They seek escapes, distractions, addictions, anything to evade the suffering. But the sole pathway out is through it. You must permit the old version of you to perish. You must relinquish everything that no longer serves you. Everything that was built upon apprehension rather than truth. This is what Jung termed individuation, the painful but indispensable process of becoming your authentic self. If you are in this stage at this moment, comprehend this. You are not perishing, you are transforming. The cosmos has isolated you because it is stripping away everything that is not genuinely you. It feels insufferable now, but on the other side of this suffering lies something incredible, a version of you that is stronger, wiser, free from the illusions that once held you back. The dark night of the soul is not the end. It is the inception of something greater than you can imagine. What if this isolation is not arbitrary? What if it is not merely suffering, but preparation? Jung believed that every individual possesses a purpose, a trajectory that is uniquely theirs, but most never locate it because they are excessively distracted, excessively entangled in the expectations of others. The cosmos isolates you for a reason. It is refining you, shaping you, preparing you for what is to come. This is why so many great thinkers, leaders, and visionaries underwent periods of extreme solitude, not because they were weak, but because they were being prepared for something greater. Consider history's greatest minds in Jung, Buddha, Tesla. They all confronted isolation, rejection, suffering, but they did not permit it to destroy them. They utilized it. They permitted solitude to sharpen their minds, strengthen their spirits. They transformed their suffering into wisdom, their loneliness into power. The cosmos does not squander pain. It does not isolate those who are destined for nothing. It isolates those who are destined for something great. But here's the truth. Most individuals will never realize this. They will squander their solitude, complaining, yearning for the past, awaiting someone to rescue them. They will perceive isolation as a malediction rather than a calling. And in doing so, they will miss the opportunity of a lifetime. The query is, will you squander this time?